After watching the trailer last week, we're getting some new info from both the reveal stream and interviews for the upcoming game Call of Duty 2. I mean, World War II. Sorry, it's so easy to get them mixed up when it's the exact same unit you're following in the campaign of both games. We'll save the campaign details for later, as you could probably just play it now with shittier graphics if you pop in Big Red 1. Let's dive into the only news that anyone actually cares about, which is multiplayer. Let's get into the big controversy about the game, as Michel Condry confirmed on Twitter that there will be female characters in multiplayer, which is causing conservative snowflakes everywhere to throw a shit fit. This, combined with the fact that there have been zero swastika imagery so far, normally associated with the Nazis, instead opting for the Iron Crosses and Eagles, when the Hammer clearly indicated during the reveal stream that the studio is pulling no punches in between trying to force a diversity card for the sake of doing so, are making gamers triggered everywhere. Firstly, it's fucking multiplayer, where realism and historical accuracy is thrown out the window in favor of trick shots, quick scopes, infinite sprint, drop shots, jump shots, and infinite respawns. Come the fuck on now. Who gives a shit if a player can pick a female character in multiplayer, considering the devs already said that there will be a female French resistance fighter in the campaign? Did we see people getting offended that there weren't female playable characters in Infinite Warfare, or even Battlefield 1 outside of a former developer probably salty about being canned from the project in the first place? Of course there's probably at least one that did. It's 2017 for fuck's sake, but it's an extreme minority. Most people don't give a shit, and you should stop being more hurt butt than the people that you claim to be against. Secondly, these images were for worldwide consumption, and there are places in the world, most notably Germany, that ban SWAT stickers and other Nazi imagery, so I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt that instead of making different websites and graphics for different places, they just use one because, let's be honest, Call of Duty is fucking lazy. If they really didn't pull any punches, as the Hammer claims, let's see the finished product first before everybody gets their fucking panties in a bunch. I mean, shit, they even said Nazi zombies during the reveal, and it's on the Activision website, even though Michelle and the Hammer were cautious to use that terminology. But I think it's because Sledgehammer Games went so far out of their way to indicate that they're doing something now completely different, like Monty Python, from the past few releases, with a return to World War II instead of future settings and boots on the ground. Never mind the fact that they're basically reskinning in Call of Duty from more than 10 years ago, whereas zombies has been in 4 of the last 5 Call of Duty games, which doesn't fit their narrative of something completely different. They don't want people to be burned out on yet another zombies experience, even though people are just burnt out on Call of Duty in general. More on zombies later, as during the live stream reveal, the Hammer basically confirmed that heavy nasal breathing will be returning to Call of Duty, so snipers will actually have to hold their breath this time. Okay, that was a bit of a reach, but they did indicate that multiplayer will be playable at E3, which takes place in Los Angeles from June 13th to 15th, and is open to the public, which means that we'll get a multiplayer trailer sometime between now and then. We also learned that there will be a private beta if you pre-order the game, and this is the only way that I'll ever pre-order games, so that I can get a refund if I don't like my experiences if it was a true demo. But bad news for the PC crowd, as it appears from this German retailer that the beta will only be available on PS4 and Xbox One, and I'll assume that Xbox One gets it 1 week later, like in Infinite Warfare and Black Ops 3. This is similar to what happened with Infinite Warfare, and we all know how the PC port turned out on launch. It didn't even have a fucking anti-cheat system in the game. Some people point to the data miner's excuse as a reason for not having it on PC, so that game files won't be leaked and quote-unquote ruined for everyone. But seriously, when's the last time something I've said in a Call of Duty news video has ruined your experience for multiplayer? Anyone? Yeah, I didn't think so. In fact, it just softens the blow finding out that the latest Call of Duty game will now have paid a chance to win weapons and supply drops. And before I go any further, yes, there will be supply drops in this game because of how much money they make for Activision, and no, they won't be cosmetic only, because as we saw with Black Ops 3, cosmetic only doesn't make them enough fucking money. I just hope that there's a way to earn all of the weapons that are locked in crates like in Infinite Warfare with salvage, but there are definitely calling cards for multiplayer in Call of Duty World War II, and I'll explain in further detail regarding this Call of Duty classified teaser website, but it's a code inputting device, and if you enter in specific codes, you're going to get rewarded with a calling card for the game once it launches. Given that calling cards have been traditionally items that have been earnable in supply drops for the past 2 Call of Duty games, I'm betting that they will be in this iteration as well, along with other things that are historically accurate, like the dab shown here, and not having bright neon glowing weapon camos. During the reveal stream, there was also a sneak peek at a new feature called the Headquarter, which is basically like a ripoff of Destiny's Tower, where players can interact with one another and show off their earnings. So it's yet another way I could be shit-talked in places other than the pre-game lobby, pre-match countdown, in-game chat, and post-game winner circle. Sick. On the Xbox store, the initial listing for the pre-order of Call of Duty World War II said up to 48 players in multiplayer, which got some people thinking that either Call of Duty is expanding its in-game player limit for the new game mode war, which I'll talk about in a minute, or this refers to the headquarters nonsense from before, given the fact that someone with nothing to do for 5 minutes actually counted out there being 45 or so players in the screenshot teaser. The listing was later updated to be 2 to 18 players like every other Call of Duty game, so I don't really know what to believe anymore. The last two things for multiplayer that we got from the reveal stream were regarding divisions, which can rank up players differently, and I'm assuming that this is sort of like a class-based system, or even worse, where certain items are only available to certain factions and you rank up the factions that are chosen for you at random at the start of the game. That would be a terrible idea, but at least it's not a stolen idea like the war game mode I mentioned earlier, which, hearing from the devs, sounds exactly like operations in Battlefield 1, where it's an Axis versus Allies objective game mode with a story shoehorned. I mean, guys, I thought you were innovators in the multiplayer space. Back when Call of Duty 4 came out, you guys brought the creative class system, kill streaks, and modern combat, but now you're just borrowing ideas from other games, like advanced movement from Titanfall, specialists and headquarters from Destiny, game modes from Battlefield 1, and even the entire campaign premise from Big Red 1. What the fuck happened? Anyways, onto the campaign. As the official Activision blog details, the two missions that were seemingly composed of the trailer in Normandy and Hurtgen Forest. Also during the reveal stream, there were tweets displayed that had weird characters and brackets, which were then put into a web browser, which were redirected to an Enigma machine coder device website, which contains the coordinates for Dunkirk, which is not only an upcoming movie, but the site of a battle after Normandy, so I'm assuming it will also be part of the campaign. If you enter the codes, which are placed on billboards around the world, it will return 20 documents, which seem to be about the characters in the campaign: Red, which you will control, Zussman, Crowley, and Rousseau, whom we heard about in the reveal stream. I'll keep flashing up the pictures on screen, but the only interesting ones I've seen are this map of Northern Africa, which is different from the locations that were talked about during the stream, but surprise, surprise, they were in Call of Duty Big Red 1's campaign, and 3 weapons: the M1 Garand, which we saw in the trailer, the M1A1 Carbine, and the Sten SMG, which we saw during the behind-the-scenes video during the reveal stream. So these are the confirmed weapons thus far. If you then put the codes found on the zombies image that flashed up on the screen during the stream, you get these two images. First, of Frederick Barbarossa, who is irrelevant, but Barbarossa was the code name for the Nazi invasion of Russia, and the second being Portrait of a Young Man by Raphael, which is the most valuable piece of lost artwork stolen by the Nazis in Poland, which was last seen right before the invasion of Russia. So I'm guessing this gives us a setting for the Nazi zombies part of the game. Speaking of zombies, in Black Ops 3 news, the ESRB has rated Black Ops 3 Zombies Chronicles. However, the description seems to be that of the campaign and multiplayer, raising questions as to whether this is actually the 5th DLC for the remakes of older zombies maps, as I explained in the last Call of Duty news video, or if it's a bundle being sold as the game plus all the zombies DLCs. And finally, in Infinite Warfare news, the VPR has been nerfed to not have a long-range time to kill as an AR with the recoil increase and range reduction, but it still has the capacity of an LMG, who will now actually shoot the right amount of bullets compared with its ammo counter, along with the mobility of an SMG. Also, Tactical TDM is now Tactical Mosh Pit playlist, so that you can pretend maps designed for advanced movement still work in neutered TDM, kill confirmed, and domination. Anyways, that's going to do it for the Call of Duty news of the week. I've been the Schwanz27, out like the Clippers. Until next time.